It's wonderful to be here and to see you, and thank you very much for coming. Charlotte, this is not the first year that Charlotte has done this.
Keep talking. Just to bring up a little bit more. Keep talking.
Volume up?
Yep, keep talking. You gotta talk
Okay.
when I do it. That way I can. Okay, keep talking.
This is not the first year that Charlotte has done me the kindness of asking for a poetry reading for her birthday. It makes me very happy to do that, especially since, as any of you who write know, and the person you live with, the person you live for, and the person you live from is so deeply part of what you write, so deeply part of what you do. So it seems almost an effrontery to offer her yet again what she has given me. But I'm very happy to have been asked. So I'm just going to read poems from the last couple of months. I write a lot, keep everything I write, save it, and most of what I write and save will never be seen again. But it doesn't seem right to me historically. It feels like a frightened little Catholic boy tearing up something naughty if I tear up an imperfect poem. So I just leave it alone, keep it in its date, and if nothing else, it serves as I can barely see you. Why am I so far away? Well, can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay, I'm here. What's the name of that ophthalmologist you recommended? He would help me see. Anyway, but I like to preserve everything I write, and it serves, if nothing else, as a kind of diary or record of my life. I don't otherwise keep a diary. A lot of people do. I think it's a wonderful practice, but I've never been interested enough in the past, even like 5 minutes ago, to write it down. So let me read some recent work then for you. It's a very small one to get started. Starts with 2 lines from an old Lollard ballad. When Adam delved and Eve span, already the woman more skillful than the man. that wonderful early image that men knew how to dig, women knew how to spin, knew how to do useful and intricate things. I wrote a series of pieces in early October about lighthouses, and it hasn't yet organized itself in my mind as a lighthouse poem, but here's one section of it. Or it was after all a lighthouse, and the dazzle of its function blinded me with accuracy until I supposed it was a hand reaching out to steady me in my dizziness I thought was the sea. And I was the cormorant, and I was the gull, and the storms came by and knew me, sprawling flotsam up the shore, and rich tangled weed, hummocks of fucus like some cake a sloppy neighbor brought for me. Never go empty-handed to a friend's house when tea is poured. That's the only law I ever learned before I walked into the sea. But is any law enough, or any cake, or any friend? And was it even me? I moved towards what I see, the mirror phrase. The sentences are glass. I'm forever urging people to read very slowly. But this poem called Special Knowledge, as they say, wants to be read fast, or faster. Hand on the shoulder, reach into the vault, the airless kiss of money. I should say this begins with an old movie that Charlotte was watching one night. I mean, really old, like late 20s or early 30s. And I walked by and said, what was that? And she gave me a quick précis, which turned into this. Special Knowledge, this is called. Hand on a shoulder, reach into the vault, the airless kiss of money stifled him. Old movie in a white hat. Cameraman, long dead, must be laughing through his lens. Nothing ever happens to the woman Whose shoulder left these bruises on my fingers? Tomorrow Istanbul, yesterday the world, cat on a lap, an allergy to parakeets. The suburbs of heaven overlap the banlieues of hell. Plural in X is obsolete. Eskimo escalating harsh plateau. As the lap is obsolete in a fitness world, we jog side by side, the dog keeps pace, intimate evidence all around us. Driven by will, a book tends to fall open to the middle. Learn from this, O theorists. Be still and let the silence throb. Or is it all cut and paste with you, an origami of the mind, to turn thin old ideas briefly into novelty, giraffes lecture at the Sorbonne? No noontime ever in this polity. I mean a brave disease to turn your day around. The actual is always obsolete. You need 1,000 footnotes just for yesterday. Opalescent azure, a car slowly in the rain, silver car, silver rain, maple leaves, jigsaw the road. We are close to the edge now. Can air sustain the willful step? Suicide girls of East London, what will we do when we aren't alive? Mortal satisfactions. Isn't the wound of life enough without the kill of death? The rapture is over, the saints left long ago, and Odiana empty now 1,000 years. Get over it, we're here forever. Unless this is heaven and our stay is limited, check out time, we're back to work again, raising eyelids in the mortal world. Heaven, after all, the rungs of the chair, the bones of her back. I have a mean poem which I read about Vargas Llosa and his friendship with George W. Bush, but I'll leave that in. I won't read that. Can motivation shuck corn? Can a single farm stand satisfy Sunday regattas of Mercedes? Can we give something back to the bee? Why do I keep asking questions? Don't I know it all already? And if I don't, who does? And why? Wasn't there a time, was it a cave, when we were all in this together? Isn't there a license you can buy entitles you to meaningful doubt or a glass of milk? What becomes of all the words we speak? What does a cow have to know about cheese? Everything is a product of our product. But don't we, like the moon, need a night off now and then? Can't the wind do some of our work for us? Wind farms off Nantucket, bagpipes on the Isle of Skye. Just write it down. It will look like the answer. It worked for the Bible and Homer. Now let it work for me and thee, word without end. Amen. This is from about a month ago, still not over. Please don't know where I live. I can barely find my way there myself. I don't want them eating my shadow. That's what strangers do. My blood pool, sluggish in the jar I am. They will come and break my shadow, sprawl all over the fragments, then steal away with my empty mailbox, leaving broken things behind them, light bulbs that leak darkness, and on my wall, the crucifix has too many arms. This is a longish poem that could be read very quickly or very slowly. It's called Intrinsicum, the intrinsic thing in Latin, I guess. It sounded like the right word. Aftermath of something green. This hue evaporates into night, stuck together by a queen's molecular, mine own electrons caught and then let loose, fall of the tower. She licks his prominent phalanstery and makes monks of them. Who? No Basque steel, no squat or zealous July. Saul over sly Bathsheba reigns and means no harm, but who taught her such Aramaic chemistry? Was it a cloud? Was she allowed? What else did David see from his pigeon coop up on the roof? One by one the girls came running, atoms from Mendeleev's table, whispering to his aging ears, we are all Bathsheba, each by each. Then the king knew that he had sinned by being few when he could many, had built his father's temple to the wrong half of God. Tree and sympathy and priests of the wise woman from before time sent forth now. They must creep back from the desert to remind us all of her and all hers. The Holy of Holies is hollow. That is the secret. Nobody home. Into waste places of the genome hath wisdom fled to fertilize the desert scrap, the old she expelled from her high house back there by man-wit, king snivel, pontiff prattle, all the dull boys. Are we near? Close but no sitar. The pluck you hear is belching brass inside of you tubes, spoken tubes by her daughters. It's a gay ball maybe, but no glimpse for glimmer, shimmer. Summon her back from the speechless desert, her best from felicity, treeless arbor, her belt slipped loose from the stars. When we be so weary of no shimmer, the shimmering ergs of radiant between. Alack for us this pale pope, this coolage of cardinals, this mope. Give us our middle back, our means. Are these stalks? Are they stems? Are we weeds to stick up tall against all this weather, 2 millennia, and still fancy we're coming when we're going? Oh, bring her back from Arbalest. Hers be the glue reminds us gleal of all perceiving and know again. Are we stilts? Are we stamens? Stoles merely? Creaky semaphores, flake and windy? The tantric intrinsicum itself it is, and spins north within on stem and stamen. Leaves shift in the rainbow. Target of tension, tell the toller, by doorbell, sir, man unanswerer, by cogent and by merely feed, exonerate alona. I picked up 2 broad coins, some Spanish on 'em. Is it Latin? Could be silver or lighter, some fabled argir aluminium. 1 weighed a £1/4 in Troy, and 1 a little less in hand. I forgot it. Till this moment it was a dream. But who is this I suddenly had it? A brother, a broker, selling wares. Came for the music, left for the song. Sound a body of water, and me a body of fire. Who me? I his own? Sister, mister, was you Underbridge? A porter and his alewife from the same stream? We share our dream. We have no other money.